Good afternoon from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. We've had some more NFL moves made as we close in on the start of free agency. The Chicago Bears released middle linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. They have also created $44 million in cap space with that, plus the DJ Moore trade and Drew Dahlman's retirement. The Las Vegas Raiders have released quarterback Geno Smith after a one-year stint. The Los Angeles Rams extended safety Cameron Curl to a 3-year, $36 million deal. The Miami Dolphins released two veterans in fullback Alec Ingold and kicker Jason Sanders. The Buffalo Bills also released two veterans in cornerback Teron Johnson and wide receiver Curtis Samuel. And Packers edge rusher Rashawn Gary just announced that he will not be returning to Green Bay next season and will be a free agent. Tennessee and Vanderbilt face off tomorrow in the regular season finale. The Vols won the first game in Nashville, and Vandy will look to get revenge in Knoxville tomorrow with tip-off set for 1 p.m. Central. You can listen to Vol Network's broadcast of the game right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. And it's 1 o'clock and 3 minutes here on this Friday. And man, free agency... Even though free agency hasn't begun, lots of moves being made, lots of contracts being signed. If anything Titans related hits some breaking news, we'll keep you updated, or any kind of major breaking news, we'll keep you updated. And speaking of free agency, Blaine, typically the teams that have spent the most of free agency typically do not see a lot of results on the field, positive results on the field, I guess you should say. But over the last 5 years, it's kind of changed. And I'm a little surprised when I started looking at the top 5 spenders in free agency. And over the last 5 years, the top 5 teams pretty much even out and go 500. Now, like last year, you had New England was number 1. They went 14-3. Minnesota, 9-8, was number 2. The Giants were number 3. 4-13. Seattle was number 4, 14-3, and Tennessee spent the 5th most money in free agency last year and went 3-14. But it's kind of crazy when you start averaging out all the top 5, their win-loss records.
So everybody else did well, but we didn't do well.
Well, the Giants. And don't worry, we got their offense.
I thought we was always looking at it from the Titans' view.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad to get there. The Titans have been, out of the last 5 years, 3 of the last 5 drafts, or last 5 free agency periods, 3 years have been one of the top 5 spenders. And 2 of those years, they went 3-14 each year, was the last 2 years. The last time before 2024, when they were in the top 5, was all the way back at 2021 when they went 12-5. But it's kind of crazy. Used to, you would always have Jacksonville at the top of this list and Cleveland at the top of this list. And, of course, we know those records have not been very good. Now they've kind of fallen out of the top 5 and course corrected. But now it's almost basically, it's kind of like the draft, right? A lot of these teams' records and stuff coincide with good draft classes. But it's pretty much like Tennessee's paying money. You're just paying it to maybe the wrong people in certain years. So it will be real interesting to see where Tennessee falls this year in the top 5 spending. There are a couple teams that have to spend a lot of money to make up some ground so they don't get fined by the NFL for a rolling 3-year period. Tennessee's not one of those teams. Luckily.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know if it's ever happened, to be honest with you, because this is relatively new, I think, to the 2011 CBA. I mean, I guess that's not new anymore, but they're getting pretty close. Like some of these teams are, like where they're going to, like the Raiders. The Raiders if they're going ahead and releasing Geno Smith, and then if they trade Max Crosby, they have to spend $134.7 million in cash in this free agency. So about $40 million of that is probably going to be towards their draft class. So you're probably looking around $90-something million need to be spent in cash on free agents. Very easy to do, but that means that they're going to be a team that's probably overpaying for players because they need to meet this little maximum threshold, I guess you could say.
Is there any website that tracks if people have not spent the money? Because I think every year some of the teams don't do that.
Well, it's a rolling 3-year total. So
maybe that's why I lose track because I don't understand. Yeah. For 1 year, I'm like, they didn't meet the threshold.
Right.
They didn't do it.
And so it's 2024, 2025, and 2026. You add those salary caps together, the standard NFL salary cap. Okay. And then the NFL teams have to spend 90% in cash.
Doing that. I thought it was 90% per year.
Yeah. Now, the Titans have been really good at going 100%.
I'm talking about teams. I'm like, man, they didn't spend.
I was actually a little surprised by how many teams still had a lot left to go because I just figured if it's a rolling 3, the Titans they're going to clear by it easy.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, well, man, most teams probably got to be spending clear by it easy. Now, this could include extensions and all that. Whatever cash you spend in a year will go towards that total. But Las Vegas, man, they're way away from it. New Orleans and the Jets are the other two teams, but they're probably going to be able to hit it pretty easily. But the Raiders are heads and shoulders. They double the next team if they trade Max Crosby, which is kind of sound like that is the way to go. So for the Tennessee Titans, you don't have to worry about that part, but you do have to worry that other teams ahead of you that have as many holes as you have to worry about that and spend that cash. And that's this free agent cycle is the weirdest free agent cycle I feel like I've ever seen.
Well, they say there's going to be a lot of trades. If they're not getting trades, they're getting cut.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy,
quality players, too, man. So I'm interested to see which direction once that starts happening.
Yeah.
You can kind of be patient and make sure you get the guy that you're really aiming for, our guys.
Yeah.
That are quality players in the middle of their career, still really good starters. This is how you mix with the draft and free agency. You make the right moves, man. We can be right back in the hunt, man. I mean, I'm middle of the road, but in the hunt in every game. This is gonna be interesting. I mean, Gary getting released. I'm like, hey man, that's a quality player. That guy only like 29. I'm like, or something like that. I'm like, hey man, that guy's gonna get you 7-8 sacks. That's a guarantee. His history tells you that's what he is.
Yeah.
He may do better. You never know. With a jolt and change of scenery, have to prove something. Hey man, those guys are all competitive. So. You stacking players like that on your team at different positions? Ooh.
I mean, that
seems exciting.
Hey, listen, so doing my free agency plan, we'll hear about it at 2:00. I did one last year, and I didn't have Rashawn Gary because I was like, I don't know if he's really going to get cut. Don't really know if you can really work out a trade or not for him. I didn't really know what the Packers were feeling. I knew that he was a cut candidate, but I didn't know how much that was real.
I didn't even know he was a cut guy.
And then that happened. I'm like, I'm going over to my spreadsheet and I'm putting in Rashawn Gary and trying to make it work and make it fit because that's a guy that I would put near the top of my wish list as a Tennessee Titans staff member, media member.
He's better than the other
I think he's
pass rushers, right?
I think he's better than Odafe Owe because he's a better all-around pass rusher because he plays the run really well as gets the 8 to 9 sacks every year.
Watch this. Is his style something like Baines?
I would say so. Yes, I would. I could make that parallel in comparison.
Yeah.
And I would say that, he's nothing like Harold Landry in style, but in production of you're getting and the quality of veteran you're getting, it's very Harold Landry-esque.
Right.
And we can play the connection game. Chad Brinker was there when he got drafted. Robert Saleh was the assistant coach on the staff at Green Bay in 2024 after he got fired from the New York Jets for the rest of the season. So, little connection game there. But regardless of if the connection was there or not, I'd be wanting Rashawn Gary as one of my maybe top 2, top 3 choices in this free agency class for the Tennessee Titans, because to your point, what you said right at the top when talking about him, he's consistent. You know what you're getting. Yeah. And last year, Blaine, he still ended up with 60 pressures. The sacks may not be there, but he's a disruptor. Mm-hmm. And when you're a disruptor, the Tennessee Titans last year, first off, he would have been number 2 in sacks behind Jeffrey Simmons. And then on top of that, he would have been, I think, number 2 in pressures on this team as well. So for me, it's a no-brainer that I would be looking at Rashawn Gary. And I'm not saying that you may have to overpay just a little bit to get him. I'm not going and trying to pay him, Trey Hendrickson money or anything. You get what I'm saying? But I think that there is a reasonable case to be made that Rashawn Gary is the Tennessee Titans' best option in free agency at the defensive end position.
Yeah, we could say it's the Titans, but how many other teams are going to have him on the list?
That's true, because and listen, this pass rush group kind of keeps growing and growing and growing, because you still got Jalen Phillips, who we rarely talked about because I just don't like his injury history, but he got traded to Philadelphia. You have Odafe Owe, you have Boye Mafe, you have Trey Hendrickson, you have all these guys entering in. So how does that market actually play out is a big question, because I really don't know. Like I said, the market values for these teams when doing my research, or these players when doing my research, it's all over the map. No website is close to the other one in any of these. Like nobody. Really? People that do this for a living that have more data and more access than I do are having a hard time finding values on the majority of these players.
Why is that?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's the amount of quality players at some of these positions. I don't know if it's where teams currently are in their roster construction and versus needs, like supply and demand. To be honest, I really don't know. It's by far the most perplexing free agency from a contract prediction standpoint, in my opinion, that I've seen in the last, at least since 2018, 2019. I mean, that's when I started really paying attention to this kind of stuff. This is one of the more perplexing ones for me.
Is Gary is this? I know someone's asked here on the chat. Is no character issues? Is it?
I don't recall any. There may have been some coming out of the draft.
Was it?
Maybe, but I mean, I don't remember it at all to be able to say it. Like you were talking about trades. Well, we talked about a couple of days ago about Tremaine Edmonds, right? How he had a little bit of a trade market buzzing around him. And then all of a sudden last night, he's flat out released. Yeah. So he's flat out on the market now. You don't even have to spend a pick or do a pick swap to try to get Tremaine Edmonds if the Tennessee Titans were genuinely showing interest in Tremaine Edmonds, as it was reported by ESPN. So, now you still got to compete with people. Yeah. But you would have to compete in a trade too. But it's...
You don't have to give up value now. You're just giving up the cash. You got the cash.
Yeah.
Did you see the conversation by Saleh about when he was with the Jets? I
haven't
Edmonds?
heard it. I say that's what I meant to clip off today. I meant to get that audio today.
You can find it, just what Saleh said about Tremaine Edmonds when he was the coach of the Jets. But
because he said, what did he call him?
Unicorn, maybe? I don't know. It was something like that. He was he spoke highly of him, and I'm like, whoa, hey, did you ever think that would be a possibility?
Yeah, because that's when he was with the
get him.
Yeah, with the Jets.
Yeah, he was the head coach.
So that must have been when they played the Bills, maybe at one point.
I don't know.
But I saw the clip right before I went to bed, but I didn't listen to the clip. I saved it. And I forgot to go check my saved bookmarks today.
It was something,
it was something crazy like that.
It was pretty complimentary, let's just say that. In a wild way, like he would love to coach him. So it was, I don't know if he's going to be on the list or not. That could have been years ago, and sometimes those things change as years go by, especially, the NFL players are kind of like in dog years. So, 2 years go by, he's just a good player now,
All right, let's go to Josh in Mount Juliet. Josh, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hey, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good. So if you actually looked at the free agent cap space we have, right, you get rid of Ridley. You actually get rid of Tony Pollard. No offense. I love the guy, but We came in 30th in rushing last year. He doesn't play more than 2 downs. Throw a bag at McGovern. We need a center, and we need somebody to keep Cam from getting, murdered. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I have two different thoughts about what you said. First off, Tony Pollard's a 3-down back. I don't understand where this thing's come from that he can only play first or second down. I don't understand
he
it.
He played slot receiver in college at Memphis. They were trying to utilize Tajay Spears. I think that's why people think that. And they were trying to mix the carries and maybe find a role for Spears, who does have some unique ability and really explosive. So it could be perceived that he is not a 3-down back, but he definitely is.
Yeah,
he's the best blocker, by the way.
Way better than Tajay Spears. And also, just to throw out there, he started as just a third down only back at Dallas. So he could play all 3 downs. And I understand that they were 30th in rushing, but that's also an attempt stat, not a Tony Pollard stat. Tony Pollard is a good player. That is a lack of opportunity given to him by the coaching staff because they wanted to sling this thing all over the yard at the end of the year.
He still had 1,000 yards, too, by the way, which you could say what it is, but there's some guys who didn't. So,
the other thing is
4.4 yards a carry or something like that?
Yeah. He had 4.5 yards per attempt. Okay. So that's not a Tony Pollard issue. Mm-hmm. That is a Tennessee Titans offensive scheme issue. Okay, so 4.5 yards per attempt for Tony Pollard. But you can still get Connor McGovern without getting rid of Tony Pollard, and I'll lay that out later on in the show. And I do think that it was really good. Tyler Biadasz signed, who's the same age as Connor McGovern, but a little bit lesser of a player, just by a tad, went for $10 million per year last night. That's really good because a lot of people have been projecting this center class to break records, and I don't understand why. That's one of the confusing things. They're projecting the center class to get paid crazy amounts of money. And I think that last night, that's a good thing for the Tennessee Titans and really any team looking to get a center because he was probably the third best center option available, and $10 million per year is pretty good for a center.
For McGovern?
It was for Tyler Biadasz, who signed with the Chargers last night. But that's a good thing for McGovern because you should be able to get McGovern a little bit cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, and I don't know if he was referencing, he didn't say his name, but Love, and maybe he wanted to get rid of Pollard. You could still have Love and Pollard, by the way, and I think that they could work that out, and then Pollard could then be your 3rd-down back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. Like, spoiler alert, I'm keeping Tony Pollard when it comes down to it because I don't see any reason when I'm going through my money. I don't see any reason to get rid of your most reliable player of the last 2 years. That gets the ball. Obviously, Peter Skoronski and all these guys.
Let's just say the Chiefs don't get lucky enough to get a running back.
Yeah.
And then they want to trade for Tony Pollard.
After the draft, I'd be a little bit more open, but in free agency, I think I'm just going to ride with Tony Pollard right now.
See how this all works out here.
All right, coming up next, we're going to go and talk some NFL free agency as we go around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney of CBS Sports. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're going to go around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney of CBS Sports. And Jordan, free agency frenzy has kind of begun, even though the free agency hasn't started, and not even the legal tampering period has been started, but the Tennessee Titans have already been linked to Wan'Dale Robinson and John Franklin Myers, pretty much the haze in the barn on those contracts. I mean, at some point, should we just start free agency at the Combine?
Yeah, I was joking with Ross that I'm calling on the NFL to investigate the Tennessee Titans for potential tampering when it comes to John Franklin Myers. It seems like that contract has already been signed in secret. No, I'm kidding, of course. I think that John Franklin Myers would be an incredible fit for this defense. He has familiarity with Jermaine Johnson and Robert Saleh. And Wan'Dale Robinson, too. I think there's a fascinating conversation to have about where should Tennessee look at the wide receiver position. Wan'Dale Robinson is a small dude, but that dude is absolutely competitive. He was productive. He has familiarity with Brian Dable. So I think that would be a nice fit. But, hey, you got to be worried about a potential bidding war with the New York Giants, who would like to keep him in the fold. How much money are you willing to pay Wan'Dale Robinson?
That's the big question that everybody needs answered. What have you thought about the stuff you've heard about this free agency class so far? Because there's a lot of depth at edge, which we usually don't see, and it's quality players. It's not elite players, but good players you can work with. And then you turn around and you see that, okay, one site has John Franklin Myers at $12 million per year. People are saying he's getting paid $20 million per year on the market. Like, it's kind of a wild free agency. Are we in for maybe the wildest free agency yet?
It's definitely the weirdest already. And to answer your question, I feel like it comes down to how NFL teams and executives view the free agency class, but also the incoming draft class as well. It seems like it's deep in certain positions, but it's not exactly chock full of elite talent that are pushing to reset the market values at their respective positions. And that's why it's gotten really tough to project some of these contracts, just as you mentioned. Like, if you were to ask me to project a contract for a potential target for the Tennessee Titans, it's really tough for me to do so. Every single year we see guys who go for more money than we're expecting, maybe like an Alec Pierce this year, and some other underrated guys who go for less money than we initially anticipated. So it's really weird. We knew that the trade market was going to be robust. All the national pundits were telling us this. They certainly were not lying. We're seeing trades fly left and right. And it seems like a lot of people are interested in the offensive line too. I wonder if that has something to do with how executives view this incoming crop of offensive linemen that are going to be first-year players. We saw Titus Howard get traded from Houston to Cleveland. So there's a lot of different things going on here. And, yeah, I think it's already been one of the more interesting off seasons I've seen in recent memory.
Well, let's start with the Colts just real quick. I mean, they transition tagged Daniel Jones. Or was it franchise tag? I can't remember which one it was now off the top of my head. But they tagged Daniel Jones. Yeah. And then Alec Pierce says that he's earned the right to test free agency. I mean, how do you think about the Colts and how they've handled that situation between those two players?
Yeah, it's really tough. I wonder if I would have gone the opposite direction and tagged Pierce instead of Daniel Jones. But what the transition tag says to me is the Colts saying, hey, NFL, if you want to pay Daniel Jones coming off the torn Achilles, here's your opportunity. Remember, the Colts wouldn't receive compensation if some sorry soul stepped up to the plate and offered Daniel Jones $55 million a year. And I would say that this was a calculated move, because let's look at some potential landing spots for Daniel Jones, hypothetically. The Vikings have one of the worst cap situations in the league. The Browns are close behind there. The Dolphins aren't in a great spot. And while the Jets, for example, have some cap space to do this, I don't know if they would be in that market. And you could say the same thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have to wonder when Daniel Jones is going to be able to play and be 100%, when Indianapolis feels comfortable reinserting him into the starting lineup. But they save about $6 or $7 million with the transition tag as opposed to the franchise tag. Now, as for Alec Pierce, he has quickly emerged as one one of the more fascinating free agents, regardless of position this offseason. Is he really going to fetch something like $30 million a year? Because if that's the case, then I'm taking him off the board if I'm the Tennessee Titans, to be quite honest with you guys. He was incredibly productive, though. He was the first player to lead the NFL in yards per reception in back-to-back seasons since 2005. That was Ashley Lilly of the Denver Broncos, I think.
Oh, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Isn't that a name?
Wow.
Hawaii legend, right? But I think Pierce has also had the most yards per reception with a player with 1,000 receiving yards in a year since Deshaun Jackson in 2010. And here's the thing about Alec Pierce is he's not just a deep ball threat. That's what he's introduced himself to the NFL world as. But I actually think he could be a well-rounded wideout. Is he a wide receiver one? That kind of remains to be seen. I don't know if the Tennessee Titans should be in that market if we start approaching $30 million.
We're going around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney of CBS Sports.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, man, this is intriguing. Some people like him. Some people, that's not their stick. But a lot of rumors out there saying maybe Minnesota. I mean, where do you think this running, drop back, all over the place quarterback will end up? And will he have success, you think?
Yeah, I do like Kyler Murray. I think that a change of scenery could really be beneficial for him, but all the same concerns are still there, right? The size, the durability. If he was to sign with a team in the AFC North like the Pittsburgh Steelers, is he going to last 1 week before he takes one sack from the Baltimore Ravens? I think that's like a legitimate concern, right? But here's the thing about Kyler Murray. Well, actually, I'll give you two things. One is that he could come incredibly inexpensive. He could play on the veteran minimum of $1.3 million, which would be incredible for any interested team because he's getting paid by the Arizona Cardinals, who signed him to that long extension a few years ago. So that's going to be a beneficial thing for chasing after Kyler Murray. But the other part about this is the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have now become one of the more interesting teams to watch on the quarterback carousel for a bevy of different reasons. We know that there's mutual interest between the Vikings and Anthony Richardson as a potential trade target. But Kyler Murray, I think, is more solidified than Anthony Richardson. He has a higher floor than Anthony Richardson. So we know the Vikings apparently have some interest in Kyler as well. If I had to pick a team for Kyler to go to right now, I would probably pick Minnesota.
So do you think they've given up on J.J. McCarthy?
See, that's a really good question because I don't think they have 100% given up on J.J. McCarthy. Now, given his contract situation, it's coming up when they have to make a decision on the fifth-year option. That's a very fair point. J.J. McCarthy has had some moments. He hasn't been this unmitigated disaster like we saw with Zach Wilson and the New York Jets a few years ago. There is some potential there with J.J. McCarthy, but as you guys know, I was never a really big McCarthy fan. I never thought he should have been picked that high in the draft. I don't think he possesses these elite intangibles that scream franchise quarterback. And then you also have to factor in, hey, he's in a very favorable landing spot, right? With Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson to throw to. He's being groomed by Kevin O'Connell, who's held in regard as one of the best quarterback developers in the NFL, and he hasn't really done enough to earn that job as unquestioned starter. So there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. The bottom line is that the Minnesota Vikings will be adding someone. We don't know if that's going to be Kyler Murray or Anthony Richardson, Kirk Cousins, whoever it may be, but I think it's a fair question to ask. I just don't think that we can say for sure that the Vikings are 100% out on J.J. McCarthy.
Well, how fair is it to ask TB12 or Alex Guerrero, whatever his name is? But the wellness coach there with the Raiders, Tom Brady's right-hand man, him and Max Crosby, do they not like one another? Is that why he wants to be traded? What is his role first and foremost? And is he just kind of the mouthpiece and the eyes and ears for Tom Brady while he's, in Florida hanging out, doing other things and broadcast and everything else? And why do they want to trade Max Crosby?
Right. I think with Alex Guerrero, I actually wrote something on this not long ago. I think Albert Breer was the first one to really mention Alex Guerrero's name with Max Crosby. And what Albert Breer said was that Max Crosby's anger, I guess, for lack of a better term, goes all the way up in the organization with the Raiders to Tom Brady and Alex Guerrero. Now, Alex Guerrero, I think his official term with the Raiders is wellness coordinator, but it's a lot more than that. According to reports, he's kind of viewed as the eyes and ears of Tom Brady in the organization. And I don't want to say he has a lot of power, but he definitely has a lot of say when it comes to reporting to Tom Brady. And Alex Guerrero reportedly was part of the committee, if not the main decision maker, when it came to shutting down Max Crosby for the remainder of the 2025 season with 2 games remaining. And I think that was the final straw to break the camel's back, because Max Crosby is the most elite competitor there may be in the NFL. To take that guy off the field to tank for the number 1 overall pick felt like a betrayal to Max Crosby. So that's why he has some beef with Alex Guerrero, with the whole wellness staff with the Raiders, the organization at large. And that's why we may see Max Crosby dealt this offseason.
Somebody won't be dealt, but will they ever play in the NFL again? That is Stephon Diggs.
I think Stephon Diggs will play in the NFL again. I know that there are a lot of different things off field in the court system that he has to deal with, of course, and that's certainly a red flag for any team that could be interested, such as the Tennessee Titans. But for him to get released was a little bit more than just some off-field issues. His cap charge was going to be $26.5 million this year after he signed a 3-year, $69 million extension last offseason. Now, Stephon Diggs had a lot better of a season than I anticipated, right? A team-high 85 receptions, over 1,000 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns at 32 years old. But financially and maybe with some of the drama off the field, it did make sense for Stephon Diggs to be moved. I don't think his NFL career is just over or is over just yet, but of course there is some work to be done off the field before teams feel comfortable giving him some more money.
And I have to ask you this, the quarterback that beat me in the Super Bowl, Kurt Warner. I saw this tweet and I was like stunned when I saw it. He was talking about Malik Willis a couple days ago, and he says after taking out like running plays, quick game, he said he only had 28 drop back passes. So this is a very risky proposition. Not to say that he can't do it, but it's not a lot of body of work to really say, is he justified to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League? And they kind of opened my eyes because I thought he deserves the shot. Now, that's not saying he's going to be good, but, man, I didn't know it was that small of a sample size that you're going by, to feel like that he can be a starting quarterback.
Blaine, neither did I. I did not know those numbers would indicate that. I know that there were some screens and short game stuff and one read, but I didn't know that Malik Willis wasn't dropping back and playing the real quarterback position for the majority of his time with the Green Bay Packers. That is a fair point. And we've already noted that teams that are interested should be wary of paying a guy like this $30 million a year. I understand that. He is inexperienced, but there are 2 things working in his favor. One is that the limited experience he had with the Green Bay Packers was incredibly impressive. Go back and watch that game against the Baltimore Ravens, which Green Bay, of course, lost, but it was one of the best dual-threat quarterback performances we've seen since the turn of the millennium. He was highly efficient throwing the ball. He was accurate going downfield. He showed off that dual-threat ability as well, which is going to make him a high-upside guy. And here's the other thing working in his favor is that this quarterback carousel this offseason is not very sexy, right? We're talking about like Kyler Murray and Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, all these veteran guys that don't have a lot of interest around them. That's why Malik Willis is viewed as arguably the most intriguing free agent. And I'll tell you this, I do think he is probably the most intriguing storyline this offseason.
Real quick, A.J. Brown or Mac Jones, who will get traded first?
Ooh, if you're putting me on the spot, I'm going to lean more towards A.J. Brown. It does seem like there's smoke around that. And it does surprise me a little bit, man, because it doesn't make a lot of sense from a cap perspective for the Eagles to part ways with him. But if A.J. Brown has made his concerns known to the organization behind the scenes and Philadelphia is working in earnest to make him happy, it's something that could come to fruition. There's a lot of smoke from guys like Mike Garafolo and NFL Network saying that a trade is potentially being discussed. The Eagles, of course, would want something nice in return, more than just a first-round pick, whether that be a player or a first-round pick headlining a pick package. I was pretty shocked that we saw DJ Moore fetch a second-round pick given his cap situation yesterday. So, A.J. Brown, you're definitely going to have to pony up with some good picks if you want to acquire him.
Has there ever been a more obvious team that is definitely going to have the worst record in the NFL than the New York Jets? I mean, the way that they have approached and are probably going to approach this offseason, I mean, who's their quarterback? I've heard that Frank Reich has Carson Wentz number 1 as his starting quarterback option. Like, are the Jets going to actually be an 0-17 team this year?
I don't know if I'd say that. And I would tend to agree with you, but I was very wrong about the New Orleans Saints last year. I thought the Saints were going to be a one-win team and be picking number 1 overall in the draft. They hit on their quarterback, Tyler Shuck, of course, and I don't think the Jets are going to be in position to do that unless they find a way to get Ty Simpson, and Ty Simpson ends up being an offensive rookie of the year candidate. Man, there are some legitimate concerns with the New York Jets, and it goes not only from roster building to who their quarterback is going to be, whether that's Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith, bring him back to New York, but also with the coaching as well. I don't think that Aaron Glenn fared very well on and off the field during his first year. I don't think he was great with reporters. I don't think that he was great just coaching up the defense. He was brought in to build a voracious defense and dominate that side of the ball. But, of course, they became the first team since whenever to not even record an interception through 17 games. So, yeah, there are not a lot of reasons to be optimistic with the New York Jets.
Okay, what are the Texans doing? For a second year in a row, I'm asking, what are they doing with their offensive line? They have traded away 2 offensive linemen. I mean, and then they traded for a running back to go behind the offensive line that isn't very good already. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I hate their moves. I hate their moves, to be completely honest with you guys. If you're a Texans fan, I'm sorry. Listen, Titus Howard is not some perennial Pro Bowl offensive lineman, but I would make the argument he's one of the more versatile offensive linemen in today's games. He's played right tackle, right guard, left tackle at times. He's played every position except center. I understand that he probably wanted some more money, which he found with the Cleveland Browns, but to fetch a 5th-round pick for who was arguably your best offensive lineman on a really bad unit is not good business, in my opinion. So the Texans, once again, the offensive line is going to be a major point of emphasis this offseason. There's a lot of work to be done there. But then they go out there and trade for David Montgomery as well, which I didn't necessarily anticipate. What was that compensation? It was Juice Scruggs going as well with a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. That was a lot for David Montgomery, who turns 29 this summer, wasn't incredibly productive. I would make the argument, yes, he's probably an upgrade with what the Texans have at running back currently, given that Joe Mixon is probably going to be a cut candidate. But he's not someone who's going to spearhead your offense as a whole. I thought that was an overpay by Houston.
Do you think it was an overpay by the Buffalo Bills to go get DJ Moore? Traded a 2nd-round pick, but got DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick back in return.
Easily. That compensation absolutely floored me. And listen, I'm a DJ Moore fan. He's coming off of the season that was, I think, probably the least productive of his NFL career. But I'm not going to put all that on him, guys. He wasn't getting the targets I was anticipating. But on top of that, the Bears' passing attack at large was inconsistent, is probably the best way to put it. But when Caleb Williams was out there firing missiles, you saw DJ Moore be a very important part of that scheme. He's going to go down in Bears lore for catching that game-winning touchdown against the Green Bay Packers. So I think DJ Moore at face value absolutely has the potential to be the wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. But given his contract situation, that's why the compensation floored me, because he signed through 2029, and Buffalo will be guaranteeing over $15 million of his base salary in 2028. His 2026 salary is already basically fully guaranteed, and a chunk of his 2027 salary becomes fully guaranteed next week, too. So DJ Moore, coming off of his least productive season, you have to ask the natural question, when is a guy like this going to hit that wall at 29, 30 years old? Has it happened? Is it going to happen this year? We don't know. So given the contract situation, I was absolutely floored to see DJ Moore go for a 2nd-rounder.
Well, lastly, JD, man, I saw Schefter kind of having a debate there on social media with the 40 times there, man. Did Carnell Tate hurt himself, enough to get out of the top 15 picks, or it'll be a mute point after he runs his own 40 on his pro day?
Yeah, he's going to get measured at a 4.2 at his pro day, right, to make sure everything's okay. It's a good question, but I don't think he hurt himself. I think that a lot of people still look at Carnell Tate as the number 1 wide receiver in this class, because you got a guy like Mekhi Lemon, who, according to reports, totally unfounded, not sure, didn't do himself a lot of favors at the NFL Combine. He's also really a slot guy. Jordan Tyson from Arizona State has some injury issues, so it wouldn't shock me if the majority of NFL teams still view Carnell Tate as that number 1 wideout, right? And he's well-rounded as a route runner. He's comfortable with those 50-50 balls. He had 6 receiving touchdowns of 30-plus air yards last season, which were most in the FBS. I understand he was working opposite of Jeremiah Smith, but Carnell Tate is a star. You can make the argument he's approaching that blue-chip level of prospects in this upcoming class, so I don't think he hurt himself too much.
All right, Jordan DeJanie of CBS Sports. Come for the NFL knowledge. Stay for the Ashley Lilly references. Was not expecting that one. That one took me back. Took me back to some Madden days, playing Madden and all that kind of stuff. That was good reference. All right, Jordan, enjoy your free agency frenzy this weekend.
Hey, you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Tennessee Titans, talk a little bit about free agency, because guess what? Free agency really starts this weekend, even though it's kind of already started. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. What are you perplexed about?
What's going on in there?
I don't know. This Rob guy.
Rob Domofsky, you about to read the Rashawn Gary thing? That's what I was going to read to you.
Stop reading social media. that's just stop it, Ross.
They're claiming Rob Domofsky, who's the ESPN NFL Nation Packers reporter, is claiming, well, he's not claiming, he's reporting that Rashawn Gary is claiming that he got hacked on Instagram. And the hacker designed and wrote this very well-written farewell letter to the fans, to the Packers. So this hacker apparently has a lot of time to come up with a letter, a lot of time to come up with a graphic.
The letter, that wasn't that hard. All he had to do is put it in, ChatGPT.
He says,
when I got
the call in 2019, it was one of the greatest moments of my life, and it always will be. The opportunity to represent Green Bay and Packers Nation across the country.
Not reading
I'm
this.
just reading it.
Stop this. Did nobody else, the big-time reporter, didn't report this?
Now all the big-time reporters are retweeting Rob Domofsky right now, but all of them reported this initially.
Oh.
And now he's claiming that sources claim, first it appears, it goes, Rob Domofsky, it appears the Packers have informed Rashawn Gary he will be released. Now, Rashawn Gary has been on the list as potential cut candidates in a few articles.
Right.
So Rob Domofsky then quote tweets that tweet and says, and now it appears Gary has deleted this post from his Instagram account. Then Rob Domofsky quote tweets that tweet and says, per source, Gary has not been told he will be released or traded. In fact, his Instagram account was hacked per that source. So not per sources, just per the source. Sounds like to me, maybe.
I'm gonna give y'all a word of wisdom here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out the player hadn't heard that he's gonna get released. That goes on all the time.
Yeah.
So that now his agent should know.
Yeah.
His agent should know, and he should be the one calling. But sometimes they don't do it. They just put it out there, and you don't know. And I'm like, that's unbelievable.
And we don't know where the source is.
Right.
Like, I mean, technically, because he just says, he didn't say per Gary's camp.
Right.
He said just per source, and that's one source. But I also wonder if it was put up because he thought he was going to be released, and now Green Bay's like, well, take it down because we may trade you.
Oh.
That's where
I like where you going
That's
with that.
where my head goes. Is like, take that down because we may trade you.
Oh, mine went totally different.
Where's your mind go?
I'm picking up what you putting down there on that one, yeah.
Oh, mine was stupid. I thought his agent hacked his Instagram and posted that and then told Rob Domofsky that he hadn't heard anything. So that's the source and the poster.
I mean, a lot of these athletes, listen, a lot of these athletes don't run their own Instagram account in some of their social media. Now, they have access to it, but a lot of them have social media people and PR people that do all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. So now I'm
but they still had to get assignment from him.
Right. Unless he was quote unquote hacked, which this is a weird way to hack somebody. Like, that's a weird prank. That one's a weird prank and a weird hack for me to kind of wrap my head around.
This was going down the Kevin Durant lane, man. I don't know, man. Oh, man, he can't be playing with people like this, man. This is, man.
If it does end up being a hack, it's a very believable hack. I will have to say that. Usually the hacks happen and it's like they're trying to sell Bitcoin or something. It's usually not, release letters.
This is where we're at, man.
They need to do the AI detection on his farewell thing. See if it was
dry up Percy Priest Lake for Rashawn Gary.
I'm a little perturbed because I thought the Titans had a chance to get a really good play.
Maybe they still do. I don't know. I'm really
so now
concerned.
The fantasy is just obliterated. It's no shot.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, man.
We'll see.
Oh, man.
I'll hack his Instagram and say that he's going to the Titans.
There you go. Put him in a Titans uniform. Have him like all the Titans tweets and stuff.
Oh, man.
Here's the real test. Is he still following the Packers on social media? That's the real test. Because that's what players start doing in negotiations now. I guess it just gets fans all riled up.
In this negotiations.
Well, yeah, I guess not, but I
don't. Even if they cut him, I don't think he would stop following Green Bay.
Yeah. He's still following Green Bay, so from Ross.
I think if you're negotiating and things get a little
contentious.
Yeah, and they start, not really being honest to the media and not really giving you anything, trying to be hardballing you, then some guys get a little perturbed.
Guardian Devil 615 on the F&M Bank chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live says, I would never, ever allow someone to run my social media account no matter how much money I had. I will double down on that and say, if I was an athlete, I would not have social media. I'd just play football. Like, I am not getting on social media because the stuff that is said to you or sent to you in DMs and stuff is outrageous. Sometimes I'd just rather not be on social media.
Yeah, I think I'd probably
or at least have access to it myself.
I think I would have it, but I wouldn't during the season. I wouldn't be participating very much. But I would definitely want to know because I would take all that fuel and fire and just light the hitman up on game day. Oh man. Oh, I love it, boy. I'd be like, "What? You see what this guy just said? Oh, he said, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm about to show him."
And he's probably also asking for your autograph as you walk into the stadium.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, no, that was you. I saw you. What's your name? I want everybody now. That's what they have to do. The players, not only the players, but I want the fans have to, when they come to, they have to wear either a sticker or a jersey with their Twitter handle.
I love it.
And that's would be on the back of the players' jerseys, too. I think we should get their Twitter handles on there. That's better than their last name.
There you go.
I think that'd be really, really fun. It'd be idea that NFL would never do that, probably, right?
No,
definitely not.
No, Dion. They wouldn't.
Man, that would be, it'd be awesome. People go follow. They get a lot of followers.
Yep.
Isn't that what it's about?
All right. Coming up next, let's talk about the best free agent signings Tennessee Titans have had, because let's have a little positivity on this Friday. I haven't been the president of positivity in a while, but let's bring it back. President of positivity.
When you been down? I don't know. You been down? Where is that? My bad. You were down because your eyes were hurting.
Yeah, my eyes were hurting. But hey, it's all good now. So listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some of the best free agent signings Tennessee Titans have had. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
There are a lot of things Americans split 50-50 on. Politics, working from home versus the office, coffee versus tea. But there's one thing we all agree on. Hey, it's Blaine Bishop. And taking care of your car for repairs can be complicated. And your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. And most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is a knowledge issue, not someone trying to rip you off. I beg to differ sometimes. But a lot of techs are not properly trained. So they end up guessing what to do, and that causes delays in getting your vehicle back or repeat visits for the same freaking issue. Oh, man, does that piss me off. But for around a quarter century, Eurofix has done things differently. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection so you know what's going on before we start the work. And Eurofix pays its technicians more than any other company does to attract the best and the brightest talent around. And Eurofix still fixes European vehicles at below dealer pricing with the 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the work Eurofix performs. And always rental cars are available and located all over the place. Family owned, 5 locations, and probably more to come. All you have to do is check them out online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com, or you can give them a call at 844-EUROFIX.